What day is this?
It's Mail It In Friday.
Yeah, well, the dude abides.
This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
OverDrive off and running. TSN 1050 on the TSN app, your home smart speaker up on TSN 4. Brian Hayes, Jamie Noodles, McLennan, and we've got Jonas Siegel in here today.
There he is.
What a day. What a day to have Jonas in here.
I can't imagine. The two of you, I should have came into studio today so I could be a buffer before fist starts flying. Because
I don't know. We might be seeing eye to eye on this one.
What does that mean? You know what? I'll let you guys start, but I just feel like you've always kind of been at odds a little bit when it came to certain situations. But are you now on the same page? That's where I should frame it.
I think there's a possibility. You know that famous picture with the Bloods and the Crips, and they're holding up the...
Which are you?
I don't know which one I am, but you and I, we need like two bandanas in here. We need a picture of us holding it up together because, man, this Leaf team, man, do they supply content. Yes, you're writing about ticket sales and injury reports, which are great articles at The Athletic, and we'll get into those. And then they go out there and play a completely lifeless brand of hockey and just get their doors blown off by Washington. And then Craig Barube, says what he says after the game. It's ugly.
What do you make of that?
It's very ugly.
I wanted your interpretation. Let's work backwards from what Chief said because we can break down the game. Mm-hmm. I wanted both of your interpretation of what.
Okay, Let's play the clips here first. Let's just to reset, just in case someone's tuning in and they have not heard Craig Barube post-game after the Leafs got shut out in Washington last night. Here's what Barube had to say about his team.
To me, they played with more passion than we did tonight. I mean, that's what it boils down to. It looked to me like they had way more urgency in their game, more passion in their game. That's the difference.
How do you explain that, considering where you are at the standings?
Ask those guys, not me.
Whew, man.
That's the stinger. That's the one you'll remember because, Noodles, whenever I hear something like that, and I think Hayes is where we're aligned, when it starts to become they or those guys and not we, us, that's when you're like, is there a divide here and can it be bridged?
Right.
It's a standoff right now. It's a standoff between the coach and the players. And, the Craig Barube is not happy, and he shouldn't be happy. That last night was not about coaching or about systems.
Can't agree with you there.
Last night was about effort. Last night was about, now, not the bigger picture through 33 games. We'll get into it. All right, I'm taking my bandana back. You better get across Crenshaw Boulevard.
Okay,
get out of here, Jonas.
So I struggle with that.
They were pathetic last night, effort-wise. Especially, let me clarify, their best players. Their best players. That Nyes, Matthews, Nylander line was the worst line on the ice. They were horrendous last night.
I can't disagree with you. I think two things can be true. It's also on the coach for the team to play hard. That's the job, right? The coach's job is to get the team to play hard, play well, execute. And it's also on the players to do that. It can be
I
both
agree
things.
with you in terms of the big picture. Again, I'm talking about last night in particular.
That's not
an isolated night.
We've seen that 10 times this year.
Right.
12
Listen,
times.
Craig Barube has to own a lot. They get caved in almost every night.
Yes.
Get outshot every single night. Their power play is horrendous.
All on the coach.
The possession numbers, all that kind of stuff is on him. He wants them to protect the house. They're horrible at it. They're horrible at protecting their. Look at OEL and Riley last night. They can't do it. He wants them to be a big, heavy, forward-checking, dump and chase team. They can't do it. They won't do it. Now, again, this is an existential question. Noodles, you can jump in. Is it that they can't? Is it that they won't? Which one is it? But they got to get an answer on that because Craig Barube is not going to change. He's going to continue to coach the way he's always coached.
Which is fair. Let me weigh in on a couple things. It's easy to go, the style that they play isn't conducive to what the team is capable of doing. Let me ask you this what is the identity of that group right now? Jonas, if you had to write an article, that's okay. So start at the top of your page when you go to write for The Athletic and you write Leafs identity. What is their identity?
Inconsistent. It's just what Hayes said. Hayes said it best. They don't control games. They have a bad power play. Their effort is inconsistent.
They're
That's the identity.
That's
the identity.
Yeah.
Okay,
lethargic.
So,
just a rudderless ship.
Yeah.
That's what they look like.
But, okay, so the coach can only – this is where I'm going to push back or defend the coach a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
The coach can lay out some stuff. If it's not executed by the players, like he can't put his gear on and go and box somebody out in front of the net. He can't do that. Like if systematically, I get it. There's a difference between wanting to play a chip and chase. And listen, the Stanley Cup champions are able to do it. Like I say, I watched – Sam Reinhart chip and chase on a 2-on-2. Why can't William Nylander or Austin Matthews? Are they above those guys?
Well, that is a reasonable question.
See, I think so.
With those players in particular, who again have been off. He called them out on Saturday, Barube, and said, "I challenged my leadership." They played two of the worst games I've ever seen them play.
What does that mean? What does that tell you?
Well, but they're not kids, though, Jonas.
No, I'm
Austin Matthews is making $13 million. To play like he has the last two games is completely unacceptable.
I am not absolving him, but I think you asked the right questions. It's like, can they?
Right.
Won't they? But then I think the third question, Noodles, where I'd push back on your pushback, is like, that's pretty good, right?
I like a little pushback on a pushback. We got a rally going here.
Yeah. Is the system conducive to success? Like, is the way that they want to play with this roster, does it work? And I think the answer we have is no.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. But what I'm saying is this is the National Hockey League, and it's not that complicated. It for the most part, it's puck possession, it's straight line hockey, it's winning 50-50 battles. You need the goaltender. I've heard how many times have a GM said to me, the league should just be called goalie because of
That's what the coach of the year should be called, the goalie.
But they're not in the spot they're in because of goaltending. Though.
No, I'm not saying that.
That's not what's happening here.
Believe me, I'm not. What I'm saying is there's a lot of different factors that come to it. So within the game, there is some systematic play where it's like, okay, they look either disorganized. I also think they look slow. So like you can execute a system if you play fast and you chip and chase and go and get it. And win a loose puck battle in the corner, that the system works. If you chip and you're second on the puck and you lose the battle because you don't want to dig in, is that on the coach or is that on the player?
Or is that on the GM?
That's also on the GM.
Is that on the GM?
Part of the roster.
Like Brad Treliving's been here a long time. He has either acquired everyone or re-signed everyone short of a couple guys.
Yep.
So he has made determination. This is his roster. Yes, Shanahan factored in significantly, but this is no longer the Kyle Dubas roster or the Lou Lamoriello roster. This is a Brad Treliving roster. It's also his coach. Yep. He hired Greg Barube. So I do think the GM needs to be brought into the picture here in terms of what he's doing and how he got them to this position.
Well, I think as we sit here and play we'll call it the blame game, there's enough to go around for everybody because and we did it a while ago, Hayes, maybe a month ago. Didn't we do like a little pie chart of how much percentage, like should this guy own and should that guy own, or the players or the coaches or management? Like there's enough blame to go around. And there is the injury blame too, like that. But that's
that ship sailed a long time.
The problem is
ago.
every team has injuries.
Yeah, that ship that's not going to hold up.
Let's agree, the three of us agree that we're going to park that one. It's well known. Name me a team that doesn't have a significant injury. Maybe Colorado. A couple of these teams, but outside of that, there's injury throughout the league. Season, shortened schedule. There's injuries and inconsistencies. Okay, so let's park that. Roster construction. That's a GM.
Yep.
Coaching, execution of the system. That's the coach. System layout is the players or is the coach. Execution of the system is the players. So all three of them, where are your grades at? Where are the blame lie?
I think, I'd say it's pretty close to, 33%. Yeah. Which means, the players, you're not getting rid of all the players. Like, that's not going to happen. And they've got to figure out as an organization what is in the best interest of this team because, there's. I think if you're Brad Treliving, there's 3 ways you can look at this. The first one is the answers are in that room. He played that card a month ago.
Yep.
Right. Answers are in that room. I think you can play the I'm going to be patient game when you're 15 games in, 20 games in. You run out of time on that. The math just doesn't math. You can't just be patient and say the answers are in the room for this season. I'm not talking big picture and what happens in the future. I'm talking if you want to salvage this year. I'm not sure you can play that much longer. He may try to. Definitely going to happen in Nashville tomorrow, Dallas the next night. I don't know if you can play it beyond that, especially if they lose the next 2 games. Then you have a fork in the road. Is it that the players just aren't good enough, so it doesn't matter who the coach is? If that's the answer, then you better find a mirror quick because you put them here. And then you got to go to Keith Pelly and ownership and say, this team stinks because of me. I built it. I'm not sure Treliving's going to do that, but that may be the appropriate answer. It may be the accurate one. It may be irrelevant who the coach is. This team just isn't good enough. The other evaluation is, I believe they're better than this, and they're not doing it, so I have to make a coaching change. Like, that's his 2 options, Noodles, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think patience you can play for maybe a few more games, not much longer. At some point, the season's gone. They're just, you got to jump over too many teams. The other teams are going to keep winning, and you're not playing well enough. So is it players aren't good enough, doesn't matter who the coach is, or players are much better than this, and they're not getting the most out of them, so I have to make a coaching change? That's his option. Those are his options.
So it's from us and the fans, the media, people on the outside. Is our expectation of this team too high? Like even from day one, was the expectation? Because again, Hayes, you've said it, 9 years in a row, 100 points, spoiled, kind of, hey, regular season, wake me up. It's going to be records here, and so we've had this expectation of this is a 100-point team and all that. Is the expectation when we look at this group, was it, it's not our fault. I'm just saying, it depends. Is the expectation too high for this group?
What was your expectation would be the question.
My expectation is I thought this was a playoff team, but it was a wild card team.
Okay, so that's is that 90-ish points, 95 points?
95 points.
They're on pace for 87 right now.
Yeah, well, that's got to change.
And let's be clear, it's irrelevant what we thought in September.
Yeah,
there's enough sample size now to say this is the group.
Well, and Hayes, I thought you asked the most important question is the coach getting the most out of the roster that he has? The answer is no. So, do you think a different coach can get more out of the roster? That's the question.
Yeah, and then
who is that?
Or can this coach change? And I want to play this clip because the mic drop was go ask them. That's a pretty significant clip, and that's Barube being exasperated, and he's just like, I go talk to those guys. I don't have any answers. That's Craig from Scarborough on the couch. That's not Craig Barube, the coach, right? That's a fan who's just so mad and so rattled with these guys saying, you go figure it out. But here's what he said at the end, which I actually think probably holds more meaning. And if I'm Brad Treliving, I think it probably holds more meaning in terms of trying to salvage this season, the bubble of 25-26. Here's what Barube said on his message.
Are you concerned that your message isn't getting through?
No, I don't think I'm concerned about that. I mean, the message is the message. They need to take it and go with it. So, but I'm not concerned with it, no.
So why I think that is somewhat explosive is, and I'm not surprised by that, is Craig Barube is saying, I'm not changing. I'm not evolving. I'm not going back to the whiteboard and saying, okay, I got to throw this out and we got to restart here and I got to do something different. That's very eerily similar to what Babcock was saying at the end. It's I know who I am. I got a cup ring, and I'm a damn good coach.
Didn't he talk about himself in the third person?
He did, and that's not what Barube did last night. But Barube, I'm sure he's confident in himself. He should be. Stanley Cup winning coach. He had them in a great track last year, right? Craig's been in the league for 40 years. Craig Barube, I'm sure, he's very confident in himself, and he should be. But I find that comment interesting. Message is the message. Not change on my end. Yes. They're either going to do it or not.
I guess he could have said, maybe we have to start thinking about a different way to get through the group because it's not working. Is that what we
and ultimately apply a different approach, right? It doesn't matter what he's going to say. Are you going to apply a different approach? But it doesn't sound like that's going to be the case, Noodles.
Here's the thing that I struggle with is where, like, we're asking, is there a disconnect? Okay. Have we seen a disconnect? And what I mean by that is friction between the coach and the players. The coach is yelling. Coaches always yell when they're winning or losing, whatever. I haven't seen a benching. I haven't seen, hey, I'm going to get my message across. Like have we seen any of the guys that are culprits, we'll call them?
But Noodles, like,
ass nailed to the bench?
Isn't a disconnect what the coach is saying and the way he wants the team to play? They're not playing that way, can't play that way, whatever. Isn't that a disconnect? Like, isn't that the biggest disconnect of all? Isn't that the point of the coach?
I think okay, so you could say play this way, but if you're not capable of playing it, then there has to be adjustments. So what you're saying is Austin Matthews, who's supposed to be one of the best players in the world, can't chip and chase because he's, too slow? Not physical enough? Like, can't win a battle? Like, I don't understand that. Like, it's hockey 101. Any top player, Leon Draisaitl can play any type of way he wants.
Except, like, Noodles, remember what happened in Edmonton, how many years ago? Was that 2 years ago?
With Woodcroft?
Yeah. They changed the coach. And they went to the Cup final 2 years in a row.
That's a better team.
Okay, but
this team is not.
But we see that all the time where you change the coach and, like, there's a bump and, like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to say, like, it's all on Craig Berube. It's not, obviously.
I don't. Not
that's
all
the thing.
on
but I think
it's not.
You
on
can't
Berube
give him all the
like,
credit last
it's
year.
on him somewhat.
It's
definitely not on him. 0%.
My point is you're right. It's not 0%. I shouldn't have said.
I think it's the number. I think it's number one.
I think Austin Matthews is number one. I think William Nylander is number one. I think John Tavares had a great start and has done nothing lately. Matthew Nyes has gone to sleep. Does Max Domi play for the team or not? I'm not sure.
No, he's not bringing much.
Name me a player that has played to their capabilities in the last month. Name me one.
It's a great question. One. It's a very valid question.
Is that Craig
Dakota
Berube's
Joshua's come alive?
Yeah, great.
No, I'm just giving you an answer and speaking to what you're intimating there because you're right. None of them, and that's the thing. Like the players, they look as if they're just. But I don't know if here's the problem. These guys do not deserve the benefit of the doubt that they can fight themselves out of a bind because their whole reputation is when the going gets tough, they melt. Like that's
in the regular season.
Regular season, you're right, but it's always been a little bit easier.
Yeah.
They've gotten off to a better start. They've been better. Marner was here, which Marner clearly helps in the regular season. There's no doubting that.
No doubt.
So that's the thing. Like, and that's what makes this whole season a little bit shocking is, like you look at Austin Matthews in particular, and I think he's got to be at the forefront of this. He's the leader. He's the captain, best player, highest paid guy. Since you became the captain, you have been leading the charge for Game 5 and 7 against Florida, which are two of the most embarrassing moments in maybe Leaf history, honestly. Yeah. Like just horrendous, and especially the way Game 7 played out. No one showed up. No one showed leadership.
But see, I thought in the wake of that, Hayes, like it was a lot on the players, and there wasn't enough. Like, how much of that is on the coach that the team doesn't show up? And
you get caved in the first period of Game 7 of a home game in the second round. That's 100% on the players.
100%.
100% Game 7. The first period of Game 7. 100% on the players.
Tell me what a coach does. Tell me what a coach has to do in a Game 7.
Get the team ready to play.
Are you not ready to play?
If you're not ready to play, then you just admitted that all of them have to go.
But so you're saying if they had no one behind the bench, it wouldn't matter.
It wouldn't matter.
What I'm saying, Jonas,
wouldn't make a difference.
They don't have a coach.
Define a team that's ready to play. Define that.
They come out, and he's talked about it, come out and dictate play. They don't do that.
I think, Jonas.
I think both things can be true. I think you're right. It's on the players for sure. But to say the coach has no role in that doesn't make any sense.
Not in an isolated scenario like that. If it's Game 7 of the second round at home, your whole career has been predicated on you choking in the playoffs.
So
you were in the building for the first period. I sat 4 seats from you. That was one of the worst periods of all time.
So
their shot attempts were like 23-1 or something like that for Florida.
What about Game 5? So that's no responsibility?
I'm not saying that necessarily, although I do think the players have to own it more in the playoffs than they do during the regular season.
I think at that time, the only reason why I'm pushing back on it harder than I would, because I think there's validity to all this full conversation, is when you are in the second round of the playoffs, everything is habit. Everything is your preparation. The guy behind the bench, all he does is put the players on the ice. They go and execute. So to me, I don't understand what he would have to do differently. Does he have to go and grab Austin Matthews by the hair and go, get your ass out there and run somebody through the boards? Or should a player understand what he needs to do in the playoffs to have success?
I think both things can be true. I think it's on him to find a way. They have been tight in the playoffs, obviously. Isn't it part of his job to figure out, like, how do we make sure they're not tight? Like, how do I loosen them up? How do I get them feeling good? Like, that's part of his job.
I think it's a lazy narrative right now in this market to go fire the coach.
Wow, really?
How many coaches are they going to go through with the same?
They haven't gone through that many coaches.
Should they trade one of the best players?
They haven't gone through.
They've gone through Babcock, Keefe, and Barube over 10 years. It's not that many coaches.
But what I'm saying is, they gave up on Keefe. Country Club could never.
It was 5 years. Like, I don't know.
At some point, don't the players deserve some responsibility in all of this, or is it just going? So how it's the coach again?
So how extreme would you go then, Noodles? Would you challenge them and say, "Give me a trade? I'm trading one of you guys." Yeah, like, would you trade Austin Matthews?
Right. No, what is that?
So what are you going to do
right now?
So what? That's
Austin Matthews controls all of what he's doing. Like,
sure,
he's
but you know what I'm saying. You can poke at him and say, if I'm keeping the coach because you guys have jammed me up so badly, then then the players. There's got to be a jolt to the players.
You made the point. It's one or the other. You do nothing, or you make a trade, or I guess you fire the coach, right?
Well, and again, listen. I'm not absolving the players. Far from it.
Yeah.
And Matthews in particular. And Matthews, Nylander, Tavares, and Riley. I would look at those four, the longest-standing veteran guys. Yep. They've all struggled this year.
Yep. And
especially the last month, and especially the last week since Barube called them out. That's on them. They got to own that. And now that's the point I was making even when I brought up the Florida stuff. You get into this year, your veterans, your leaders, your legacy's on the line. And this is how you're performing. It's a horrible look for the players. Doogie brought up an interesting point. I don't know if it means anything, but to my knowledge, they haven't even had a players-only meeting.
They typically announce those things.
But the media knows that they've had it. Again, maybe they had it during after games, the classic stay out of the room, we're talking. It has it, and that's on Matthews to do it. Right. Does Matthews have it in him to say, I'm closing the doors, everyone get out, and we're blasting into each other here, and we're going to snap out of this? I don't know if he can do that. I don't know if that's in his DNA.
Let me present something to you guys. Do you think these conversations have been had behind closed doors as far as Austin Matthews and William Nylander going, I don't like the style that you want us to play?
Maybe.
I don't know.
And that's
you would know better than us, Noodles, in terms of the inner workings of behind the scenes.
I think that's a factor
I don't know.
too, though.
But what I'm saying is that so what I'm saying is Sheldon Keefe had more of a puck possession style, right? Mm-hmm. And it seemed to suit. But keep in mind, he had Mitch Marner, who was driving a lot of play, and that's a big loss. But what I'm saying is, if Austin Matthews or William Nylander, these guys, we're talking about it for 20 minutes. These guys are living it. You don't think they're looking for solutions? They've probably had these meetings with the coaches one-on-one. They've had the meetings as a team at a dinner.
But that's the point, Noodles. That's the point. Nothing has changed. We're 33 games in the season. It's the same thing.
So that comes back to my original comment. Is the expectation for this group too high?
Well, ultimately, based on the way they played, it probably has. But the question or the answer that matters is not the three of us or any fans or media.
Exactly.
The answer that matters is, what does the owner think? What does Keith Pelley think? What does Brad Treliving think?
Correct.
Because those are the guys that actually are going to be moving and shaking here, because they are dealing. There's it's brewing in the marketplace right now. Like, Jonas, you wrote about them not selling out games. Like, they're not selling out games. There's a lot of apathy right now. There's a lot of people that are very frustrated with this team, with this product.
The brand is taking a hit.
The brand is taking a hit. That goes all the way up to the top.
Yes.
Right? That's where that's when it gets to the owner. And the owner is riding high right now because he owns the Jays, and the Jays they got 100% approval rating. Right? He doesn't want his rep to take shots with what's going on here. Keith Pelley's looking at this saying, man, I was in charge of getting this over the top. It's going south for the first time in 10 years. So, and listen, the reality is, Noodles, to answer your question, it might be in their best interest. I don't know if they have the stomach for this, to have a season where they just reset. Where you do,
you know what the problem with that is?
Do what Boston did last year.
I mean,
sell pieces, acquire prospects and picks and get dead money off your cap and try to reset and go back at it next year.
Isn't it too early to do that, though, right now?
I think it's too early.
It is too early, and they won't do it, but I'm saying that could be the direction they're going in.
But the problem with that is their team is old.
So is Boston.
Yeah, but they're not like they're trying to win a cup, are they not? If you're not trying to win a cup,
this team's not winning anything.
Then what are what are they doing here?
I guess that just answered the question.
Well,
what are they doing? Because again, like we referenced Edmonton all the time, right? Edmonton, they had a horrible start, just as bad as the Leafs.
Worse.
They were awful. Worse. Yeah. Look at them now. And Noodles, you kept saying those guys have the DNA where you can trust them because you can. Mm-hmm. McDavid and Draisaitl. You can say what you want about Bouchard.
Hopkins,
He's been great
Hyman.
recently. Nugent, Hopkins, Hyman.
Yes.
These guys don't have the same DNA.
Oh man, I don't want to hear DNA.
Well,
it's the reality, Jonas. They haven't proven they're winners.
You're right.
Like it's 10 years, man.
Right.
This isn't on. You're not on an entry level deal where you say, I believe it. You know, a couple of tweaks. So you got to let them go through some lessons.
But you're locked into
These
it.
are old players in the league.
You are locked into it.
So like,
there's no way out.
It is, but
or you got to retool.
What you're saying though, Jonas, and it's like, okay, the way out is change the coach. So that's.
If you're not considering that right now, I don't know what you're watching.
Listen, I'm not.
Not you.
I
mean them.
I think everything's on the table because when you do a forensic audit of any team, you go, what can be better? But I just tried to lay it out. I think there's so many things that can be better. Is there one piece that needs to drop that may spark other things? I don't know. The easy thing would be like, hey, the coach and here. But the easy thing would be, can I get one of my goalies back, which would start? Can I get one of my – I mean, I look at that defensive core.
Yeah, but Noodles, like
even when they were healthy.
You can go across the league and find examples of that.
Would you – if you're Keith Pelly, if you're Edward Rogers, would you allow Brad Treliving to come into your offense and say, I have a trade? Let's say it's Rasmus Anderson. They're always connected to him.
Yeah.
Really good player, good defense. But let me finish.
Yeah, sorry.
And it's going to cost you this prospect, that prospect, and this pick. If you're ownership, and based on what you see right now, would you allow him to do that?
Well, and if you're not allowing him, then why is he in charge?
I would, because a player like that might change the dynamic of everything.
I don't know about that.
Here's Troy Stetcher. You guys are writing articles about Troy Stetcher being amazing at 22 minutes and say, well, how did Edmonton let this guy go? He's a 7. He's a 6'7".
For sure.
Okay. So Rasmus Anderson at worst is a 2 and could run your power play and be a one-timer from there and be a better defenseman on the power play than anybody on that roster. Correct?
I think you're right. Listen, the power play is a big issue. But right? I guess, if you go in that direction, and these are all hypothetical, but if you did it, then what you're saying is we're all in cup window still. Like you're like, we can get back in it, we can get in the race, we can get in the dance, and we can win because we're going to give away prospects and picks, something they have nothing of right now.
That's part of the problem. What are you trading for him? And the other thing is, like, do you really think they're Rasmus Anderson away from being a great team? I don't.
No.
I'll answer my own question. I'm not letting them do it. I think it'd be a fireable offense if you even pitch that idea right now. This team is a mess at this point. You can't add, and they have no picks, they have no prospects. You can't add a 30-year-old.
And then you're going to have to sign him, too.
Sign him. Yeah. Like you're just going deeper into the abyss. You can't do it.
But what I'm saying is, I didn't say they were one player away. But that's a start. That's an upgrade. Like that's a significant
upgrade. Yes, he is an upgrade.
Significant.
For sure.
And to me, that makes your team more balanced in certain areas. You referenced the Oilers. I don't want to bring them up all the time. You've referenced.
Yeah.
The trade for Matthias Ekholm changed the dynamic of that whole back end for that group because it took some responsibility from Darnell Nurse off, and it settled Bouchard down.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm talking about, a trade, whether player X, player Y, sometimes balances out things that could help. I'm not saying that we use the word cup here. I'm talking playoff team and playing to what they're capable of. This is a better team than what we're seeing.
I agree with that.
But I don't.
It's not this bad.
But you know what?
I don't think it. I don't know what that is.
You talk about expectation. We know the expectation from the team. Keith Pelly said it in May.
Okay, well,
it was to win a cup. Like he basically said, anything short of did he say conference final or cup?
I don't remember.
Whatever it was longer in the playoffs than they've lasted. So those are the expectations. I think he said
internally, yes.
No, externally. He said it.
Well, no, I understand that, but he runs whatever the goals and aspirations are within MLSC.
Right.
I think this is a fantastic chat. Like, I love this.
There's so many layers. Hey,
thank you, Noodles.
Like, I don't think there's
layers
one right answer. It's a lot of
things.
For my comment on our conversation.
You guys are doing a great job. We are doing great.
We got to start doing this more at the end of every segment. That was a great segment.
That was a great. No, but I love this because what it is it's in a down cycle right now.
Yeah, they're in a dark place.
We could go. They'd won 3 in a row or won 4 of 6 or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, what do you do? What do you know? So right now it's a dark thing. But do you be patient? Do you see? Okay, big win in Nashville tomorrow. All of a sudden, you go into down. Like,
they better win in Nashville. I'll tell you that.
There's lots of trap games out there. Knowing this group, they lose to Nashville and beat Dallas somehow.
Wouldn't be shocking, but they better beat Nashville. All right, Mike Johnson coming up in half an hour. The thing is, Nashville said, well, we better beat these guys. Well, it's a two-way street. Yeah. Johnny in half an hour, Luke coming up. The Leafs are Noodles' son, unfortunately, Noodles. They're Luke Wilson. They're a Luke Wilson run operation. What a cover, what a call by HBO. Catch up with Luke and get to picks next.
The Australian Open on TSN and TSN Plus. Subscribe now.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. We're up on YouTube Live, and the beauty of the game last night was the Leafs were brutal, but then you got to flip over to the football game, and that was the game of the year last night. What a game. There's Luke Wilson, and Luke, how you feeling, man? Your Seahawks get a big win. They're in charge of the NFC West, but HBO with one of the great picks of the season last night.
I'll be honest, the reasons you gave for that pick, you guys were so far off. Everything you said, the polar opposite happened. The horseshoe that you've got stuck you know where right now is outrageous. The idea. And it's funny because I'm sitting on Jay's desk and Sam Darnold's driving the field and I'm shaking my head. And he's like, what's going on? I'm like, they're going to go for 2. Before, I think Herb Street said it. Before he said it, I'm like, they got nothing to gain here by a tie. Nothing to gain by a tie. Yeah. Like, they'll still be. I'm like, they're going to go for 2, and I'm jammed either way. I was sick to my stomach. I respect it, man.
I'll tell you what, the reversal of Sam Darnold, like a couple picks early and the group chat reversal because he was seeing ghosts, and I thought, that's the guy we predicted. And to his credit, man, he stayed in there. Even that 2-point conversion, like, that he had to get off his block. And you know how it goes, Luke, man. That clock is ticking, man. He must have been thinking, this pocket's closing on me. But he hung in and he slung it. Full credit to Darnold. Like, is that enough for you now to believe, okay, this guy can lead a playoff charge for Seattle?
Not yet. I think it was a great step in the right direction. But you look, Hayes, and where I get a little worried with Sam is beyond the 2 picks, I thought it was more telling when they were tied in overtime. Like there was a 3rd and 7. There's a first down. He just misses JSN. It would have been a big play, explosive play. There's a 3rd and 7. I think around 3 minutes and change left in the game. It's a tie game. And I'm like, all right, like, here we go. It's a big play. And Kubiak, the OC, dials up a wide receiver screen. And I was sitting there and I'm like, there's no, like, they just don't feel super comfortable with him. One of the things Seattle had going last night was their run game. They rushed for 171, which Seattle has not been an efficient run team this year. So, like, do I feel good if Sam Darnold is, in a situation where he's got to push the ball down the field consistently? No, he had a great drive in overtime, and I love that. I thought the throw to Cooper Kupp was maybe the best throw of the night. The Matthew Stafford no-look to Puka was pretty special, but the throw to Cooper Kupp was cover 2, was perfectly placed, unbelievable. So that overtime drive, he deserves all the credit. But am I feeling like super at ease about Sam Darnold? No, as a Seahawks fan, I'm not. I am definitely not wildly comfortable with him.
So just quick follow-up on that. Is Seattle, like, are they for real? Like, are they, do you feel like this is a team that maybe, is it just destiny? Like, can they get there or what? What do you make of them?
If you're looking at yesterday's game, Noodles, as like an objective viewpoint, they were insanely lucky to win that game. They were outgained by a lot. They stopped the run in the second half. Yes, so that was probably the bright spot. The first half, they got gashed in the run game. Stafford looked like he was playing against a college team out there. I mean, he did whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. His numbers were through the roof. They didn't create a turnover. They turned the ball over 3 times. The Rams missed a kick. It was the most quirky, strange 2-point conversion that hit somebody in the head. Everybody let the ball down. Seattle picked it up and got credit for it. The list goes on, and I thought the Rams had some bad drops at bad times. Parkinson had one that I thought would have changed the game. So to answer your question, I think Seattle's very, very fortunate to get a win there. That being said, I've said it all year on the show, I think the Rams might be the best team in the NFL. And I certainly think that Stafford solidified the MVP last night. And barring anything,
yeah,
boys.
In a loss.
Josh Allen,
okay.
I think it's...
Well, here's the
come on, guys. Come on.
Stafford
he's got the number one receiver. He's leading the league in passing and will be after this week. Leading the league in touchdowns. He only has 5 picks. Leading the league in passer rating. And he's second in QBR.
He's been great.
You cannot not give it to him.
He's been great. He's been great. A lot of 3-and-outs when they needed more last night in the second half, but still. Yet he's got Puka Nacua, and I put the tinfoil hat on, and this guy cannot help himself. Like, he tweets out right after the game and then immediately deletes it. Can you say I was wrong? Appreciate you, Stripes, for your contribution, LOL. Building off his comments on that stream where he said refs are basically throwing flags just to get TV time. This guy cannot help himself, yet he's unbelievable. Like 200-plus yards. He catches everything. He's tough as nails. He's got an attitude. He's got a chip on his shoulder. I love watching him play. I'd be worried if I'm Stafford, like the league just is going to hate the Rams. And if you're McVay, you got to figure this guy out because you need him. He's got to play. But he's putting a serious target on your back because he can't help himself with social media and streams and stupid comments about the refs.
It is very dumb. It's so unnecessary. Like, what is the point? And then you delete it a second later. Like, what is the point of that? And you said it where it's like, I'd hate that, like, the idea that he gets suspended for a game or, they fine him a bunch of money, he's disgruntled, or God forbid one of these refs does, like, consciously come out here and say, like, hey, we're going to really call Puka tough because of everything he's saying. I don't know if they think that way. But my goodness, man, it is. It just seems like that just struck me as very childish.
Yeah, I would agree. Now, if you want a maturity boost, you go to Al's brother. Right, Al's brother, Sean McVay should fly you in and have a little sit down with Puka Nacua. Would you be willing to accept that? Would you get paid in sports cards? How would you get paid?
I would do this.
Okay.
I would do this. Absolutely. And Puka Nacua, it's such a shame because I honestly think Puka might be the best receiver in the NFL. And the performance he put on last night. And I don't know if you guys
insanity.
Had a chance to listen.
We got to stop.
No, it's not insanity.
No,
it's not.
That's
insanity. The guy did 12 for 225 and 2 tuds. Are you kidding me? An unbelievable game last night.
We've got to bring this up. This is Kara Waglin's MO. Kara Waglin is on a war path to say Puka is the best receiver in the NFL. Okay,
because he is.
Okay, Als, bro, you're a stats guy. Who has better stats this year, JSN or Puka Nacua?
JSN has more yards than Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua missed a game and a half, I might add, though. But before the injury, I'm pretty sure he was on pace to have more yardage.
Who's got a better quarterback?
He also is fighting with Devontae Adams for targets and yards. Who else is Jackson Smith and Jigba fighting for?
How about one of the most conservative offenses in the NFL that is a run-first, run-heavy offense? They barely have pass Puka. He's a top 5 guy. But it's recency bias. For you to come out here and say he's the best receiver in the NFL, you tell me. So if you're a GM right now and Matthew Stafford's on your team and you haven't filled out a wide receiver yet, you're going to take Puka over Jamar Chase? Absolutely not. There's no
think
world.
I would. No, I honestly think
that's
I would.
Why you're a buffoon. That's why you're a buffoon.
A receiver with stronger hands, stickier hands. He can run routes. His body control is unbelievable.
That's why you're a buffoon.
Go check my Twitter. Go check my Twitter.
14.
It was about 8 8:51 p.m. last night. I think it was his first catch of the game, maybe second catch of the game. And I tweeted it out. He made an unbelievable contested grab. And I'm like, this guy is my wide receiver one. Strongest, stickiest hands in the game. And then he went off for 225 later on that night.
But the idea that he's being outperformed by somebody this season that has a much worse situation, has a much worse offense to play in, has a much worse quarterback to play in every meaningful category is outperforming him. Yards per catch, touchdowns, total yards, everything. JSN outperforms him. But because you don't watch Seattle or now watching ball, you're just like, Puka's the best. Puka's the best. Okay? It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing.
Who's the best?
I would put
Who's the best?
Are we talking about talent?
Absolutely.
Talent? I would put Jefferson at 1, but he's in the worst situation on planet Earth.
Oh, but go look at the stats. Where's Jefferson sitting? Nowhere close to those guys. What are we talking about?
And I would put Jamar at 1C. After that comes, now this is where it gets real tricky, is George Pickens to me as a talent is probably up there when he tries. But I'm convinced he tries 20% of the time. So that really is a gray area guy for me. Now you talk about CeeDee Lamb's in the next conversation.
What about
Puka's obviously in there as well.
I'm on St. Brown.
St. Brown is in there. Here's another one for you. A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown has played in Tennessee and in Philly. He's never had it. Like, could you imagine A.J. Brown in the situation that Puka's in right now? You'd be talking about sticky hands. It would be blowing your mind. And I'll finish with this. Okay, Matthew Stafford turned Cooper Kupp into a triple crown winner. As soon as he leaves, Cooper Kupp's been average.
He's had injury problems. He's had huge injury problems. You're right. He had a great year, but he's got injury problems. You got to admit it. He's had injury problems. We all got to admit, Al's brother needs to be at the combine. Independent scout. All 32 GMs can chime in on him.
Sitting there
we
with
need
a clipboard.
him with a clipboard and a stopwatch at the combine. All right, we got a rapid fire
first round
here.
grade on Puka Nacua. First round grade.
I remember that, and I'll never forget it. All right, you guys are on the clock. We got a really rapid fire here because we got into Al's brother's combine notes, and now we're way off track. You guys are Eagles -7 at the Commanders. Shoot.
Commanders. We're taking the Commanders at home. I think the Eagles have a bit of a slowdown game here. I expect the Eagles to win, but I don't like 7 points within the division. Dan Quinn will get the guys going. We'll take the Commanders with 7 points to give.
Yep.
I love it, Al's brother. The drive for 25 still alive. Hazenbro, Bears-Packers, toughest game of the week. Bears laying 1.5 at home. Where do you stand on this, Al's brother?
Yeah, I think we got to take the points here and go with your pack, Hayes. I mean, they won by a touchdown a week ago. And it was a very close game, and I get it, no Micah Parsons. But you look at the Bears, they're missing some key weapons. No Roma Dunze, no Luther Burden. And you look at them, they're going to want to try to run the ball. You look at the pack, number 4 rush defense in football. So I think they can slow down that offense, and I think that they can win this game probably. So I think taking the points, getting points with the pack. And how often does Green Bay go into the Bears and slap them silly in their own barn?
Yeah, this is a massive game. It's just like the game we saw last night. Now, we are not taking the home team, but we are going to take the points here, which is what we did last night. We covered. I could see this being a 1-point game. We're on the Packers. All right, Bucks at Panthers. Bucks laying 3. You guys are on the clock.
Noodles, I'm going to be honest with you. I really like the Bucks here, but the Bucks have also found ways. They're inventing ways to not cover this year. But I think we ride with Baker over Bryce Young. I really do. But Noodles, if you feel like Bryce Young is your guy, I'll gladly switch. But I like Baker. Okay.
I like Baker too.
I think Baker's the play.
Lock it in. Yeah. Okay, the Bucks have jammed almost everyone in the last month and a half.
Everybody.
But you're laying the points, Bucks at Panthers. They have just been destroying people. We've been on the wrong side of it multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
It's sickening.
If they lose, that Todd Bowles press conference after this game is going to be incredible.
He'll be.
I mean, you thought last week he had choice words?
He'll be stomping. All right, Lions -6.5 against the Steelers. Huge game. Huge game.
Yeah. It just seems too high of a number. Like, I think the Lions can win this game, but to win by a touchdown, I think is a little egregious. They've only covered one of their last 4 games here. This is 2 teams going in opposite directions. The Steelers, they finally got something cooking here with Rodgers and DK. This Lions team super depleted in the secondary. They're giving up over 300 yards in the air over the last 4 weeks. They're giving up 32 points a game. So I think it'll be high scoring. I think the Lions ultimately win the game, but by a touchdown, I just don't see it happening,
I'm
fellas.
with you.
I think we take the points here.
I think you take the points. Aaron Rodgers loves Ford Field. Very familiar, very comfortable at Ford Field. He's slinging it right now. You put him indoors, he's going to have some zip on that ball on Sunday night. We're taking the points. Steelers plus 6.5. All right, the Monday Nighter now, I believe, right? This is the Monday Nighter, Ravens, Pats, because we're all going to be
Sunday Nighter.
Sunday Nighter, sorry. Ravens,
Sunday
Pats,
Nighter.
Sunday night. All right, I'm all mixed up because of the Saturday games. Ravens minus 2.5 against New England.
Noodles, I'm gonna put the ball in your court here a little bit, man. I'm gonna give you. So the natural pick here is New England. I'll be honest with you. I think New England is. But when you go on FanDuel, and this is what I'm learning now. Okay, if you take New England at plus 2.5, they're actually giving you plus money. This is on FanDuel Canada. If you take the Ravens at minus 2.5, it's minus 122. So the books actually think the Ravens are going to cover this number. It's not super rare, but usually it's minus 110, minus 110. The books think the Ravens cover this. So I was shocked that the Ravens are even favorites. I think it's a bit of a trap game. I do. I think the Ravens need it.
Lock it in.
It's in Baltimore. It might be the hardest pick of the week. It's the hardest pick of the week for sure.
It's a tough one, man.
Go with the Ravens then. Go with the Ravens. The Patriots could be a little sleepy, right? You know, feeling pretty good about themselves.
I don't see it, man. They're coming off a loss. Vrabel's going to have that team cooking, man.
They got to win.
I kind of like the Ravens.
The Bills are going to beat Cleveland. They got to win to keep their doors alive.
Are we overthinking it? Are we over?
This is galaxy braining.
Drive for 25.
Jonas, you weigh in for 5 seconds.
Take the Pats.
Let Jonas weigh in for 5 seconds.
The Pats are the pick. You know the Pats are the pick. Come on.
You just take the Pats. Take the Pats.
Okay, Pats are the pick. Pats are the pick. Lock it in. Lock it in.
Al's brother, I love it. I love being on the Ravens. Harbaugh in a must-win at home, undefeated, never loses those games. Lamar's got a new leg. He's ready to play. Thank you, Jonas.
Steelers going to lose by a field goal. They'll cover the number, but lose the game, and all of a sudden it's wide open.
Doors
for the
wide
Ravens
open.
To get right back into this thing.
We need to have some
Love
luck
it.
on a weekend.
Yeah.
Last night was unlucky.
That was a crazy game. When they went for two, you just knew it.
Outrageous.
All right, boys. Great seeing you guys. Have yourselves a great weekend. We'll catch you on the group chat. Al's brother, send us more player reports, please. We need more details.
Will do.
We'll have you at Lucas
Fellas,
Oil.
I thought we had a great chat. I thought we had a great chat, a great segment.
Thank you.
Thought it was terrific.
Thank you.
It was a great.
Thank
I
you.
know Kara's feeding you info.
Self-reviews.
Kara should come on here and defend Puka next time, not you.
All right. We'll get her into the new year.
Kara knows ball. What do you got to say? Kara knows ball.
Nothing
we
wrong
can add
with
her
that.
to our mix.
Nothing wrong with that. All right. See you, boys. There's Al's brother and Luke Wilson. Get the hell out of here. That's enough. All right. Mike Johnson coming up. Dear Hazy B, OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and up on YouTube Live.
NBA's Dunk the Halls. Cavs, Knicks on TSN Plus.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Mail It In Friday brought to you by Boston Pizza's NFL Game Day menu. Stop by your local BP for $7 touchdown pints. Dialed in shareables and weekly prizes up for grabs. Football games are better at BP. Huge weekend of football, big weekend of hockey. It's going to be a great weekend, and MJ will join us in the next hour to look back on the Leafs game last night, what we can expect from them this weekend. Oilers are red hot. Lots going on in the NHL. Winnipeg and Colorado tonight. And Dear Hazy B coming up in the final hour as well. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app.
La Liga. Every game, all season on TSN Plus.
It's Mail It In Friday.
The plant called and said if you don't come in tomorrow, don't bother coming in Monday.
Woohoo! 4-day weekend.
This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Hour 2 OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line of the final score. Dear Hazy B, a little bit later in the hour. I have had some submissions here from people around here that are asking for help in terms of Christmas gifts and how they handle things and the idea of balancing being practical but also actually getting stuff that someone might want, right? Which is always difficult.
You're a very sentimental fella. So.
You are.
I try my hardest, Jonas. I try my hardest.
Can I just ask you, what is your go-to Christmas chocolate? Like, are you a Turtles guy? Are you a Ferrero Rocher?
I mash Turtles.
Me too.
Really?
Turtles are elite. But it's only this time of year. I will not touch one in July or August. You offer me one, I'd look at you like you're scum. How dare you?
Isn't that weird?
I've got an elite one that people don't.
Don't say toffee.
Toffee is
No.
the number one.
That's
not number one.
It is number one.
Noodles.
Like, what are you talking about? Toffee is elite. Is it
Okay.
not? What's happened to?
It's not elite. It's that, like it's good. It's
Is it
not
like
bad.
an old man chocolate all of a sudden or
Yes,
something?
Precisely. Precisely. It's not cutting edge stuff.
Well, and have you tried the Turtles? They have like salted caramel Turtles.
Not bad, but I
not as
usually
good as
stick
the
to the original. I love an original.
So do you like the original where they're one-timers? You have to unwrap each
Yes.
one, the box with the one-timers?
Well, it used to be, remember, the trays, and there'd be double trays. Remember, you would pop open, and there'd be a little sheet like this, and you'd throw that thing out, and I would just annihilate a sheet of Turtles.
You know what it was? The people probably reached out to them and said, stop doing that because pigs will eat 15 at a time.
Exactly
That's what
that.
it was.
You're right, Noodles. That's probably exactly what it was. Someone watched me one night and said, that kid, that's really unhealthy.
The Turtles were embedded in the box. So you just it had two fingers. You would just pop them out.
It's
and
like
away
a bag
you
of
go.
chips.
Exactly that.
Right? If they wrap the chips individually, you would think about it, right?
You might actually slow down. Yeah. There was no stop sign. Like kids these days have no idea what it was like old school Turtles.
Yeah.
Because you'd go through a row without even thinking. Like a row would be gone. You'd take that out. And then as you got older, like you come home from the bar or something, you're like, these things are going to get destroyed.
3 o'clock in the morning. You got 6 of them.
You're just mashing through sheets of
and then
Turtles.
your partner comes and they're like, what happened to all the Turtles?
Yeah, gone.
Exactly.
Well, that's it. Like I'll buy them for my wife, and she has no chance.
No.
I'm eating them.
Not that I disrespect the turtle. I love a turtle. I've just always loved the same thing at Christmas. Toffee, the small little one-time.
Okay, I got you. Pretty good.
Pretty good. Pop them out and away you go. Like I maybe they were too popular early on out here. Maybe in Alberta.
It's a very
weren't as
hipster
popular.
choice, Noodles.
It could be that.
Is it?
Yeah, you're a hipster.
Is it a hipster play? That's like an Ossington play?
There's
Well,
no
like
way.
Ferrero Rocher is like a Cumberland play, a Yorkville play.
Yeah.
They're good, but they're too rich.
You can have one and then it's done.
I like the Lindt. Is it?
Those
Lindt?
are
Lindor or whatever.
Those are
they
trouble.
Lindor?
Yeah, those are trouble.
And they come in different flavors, right?
Yeah.
Like the
Allegedly, you wouldn't know. You just they're like one timers. You
white
have no
chocolate,
idea.
dark chocolate. Now they've got caramel. They got pistachio in there. Like it's just they've mixed it up with the flavors. Where I shop at the mall in Ottawa, where I stay, they've got a store. Like a Lindor store. Like you go in and it's just like flavor
I've seen
after
those.
flavor.
I think they might have one at Yorkville.
They do.
Or
They
Yorkdale, I think.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
Yorkdale.
think they might.
What's the Vaughan Mills? I think they got one in Vaughan Mills.
Yeah, they might have
too.
them at a couple different malls.
Yeah.
I am going to destroy some turtles this weekend.
You got to figure out how to get them to
big
sponsor
plans.
the show, so then they can just give them to you.
That's a great idea. How many times do we have to drop their name for us to get hooked up?
Just keep saying this segment is brought to you by Turtles.
There you go. Here's Mike Johnson, our TSN hockey analyst, brought to you by
Turtles.
There he is. What's up, Johnny? How we doing?
Listen, boys, my mom doesn't let me buy her turtles more than a day before Christmas because she'll crush my mom, no willpower. So whether you're 70 or 50 or 30, there is no stopping that. Like Ferrero Rocher, I guess, those are fancy. They're all wrapped up nice. Toblerone, stick to your teeth too much. But the turtle could be it's damaged. There's just no stopping you. So yes, that has got to be top of the list. Top of list.
It's just a grand slam, man. Like you can't miss it.
So true.
You cannot miss it.
I was at the store the other day and I was gonna get some for my mom. I'm like, no, I can't. Can't get them. Too early.
Too early.
She'll get mad at me.
For yourself, obviously.
Yeah, then you get after them.
No.
But you're right. You don't have them in the
responsibly
summer.
left
It's
them there.
weird.
Responsibly.
That's
you left
right.
them there. Good for you.
I would never walk by the aisle in July and be like, I'm getting a box of turtles. Never. I'll buy a box of Kit Kats, but I won't buy turtles.
So you got to wonder then, is turtles like they make all their money in December? Is that what
it's like going to a Halloween store. You know what I mean? You got like a month and a half to just make so much money.
In the turtles' office, they're just like sitting around.
November.
Like they're not doing anything in June and July.
10 months.
They got a crazy off season. Anyway. I don't even know how we got there, but dear Hazy B, we'll get to that a little bit later. Dear Johnny, where do we stand on things with your Maple Leafs? You're an alumni. You see the way they played last night. Mm-hmm. Is it the coach? Is it the players? Management? Like what sticks out to you first and foremost?
I'm not gonna lie to you, boys. Like I know I'm coming on at 5. I tuned in at 4. I wanted to hear it. Wanted to hear what you guys were gonna say. So I listened to the first half hour and I think it's a bit of everything. You guys covered a lot there, and you were largely right. It is the GM for roster construction. It is the coach for, I think, game plan, like the ideas he has of a game plan, as well as sort of getting the guys to execute the game plan. And then, of course, it's the players for, like, you can ask them to play the worst system of all time relative to their talents. You still got to play it hard. And as Noodles said, like, yes, there are, pretty significant differences in how you can play. But you can be out of system, let's call it, if you're not playing a system that's ideally suited for you, and still be competitive. And I think that's where the players have to bear some responsibility because I believe, I might be with Jonas on this one, they're playing out a system. Like, I don't think what they're trying to do is ideally suited for this group. Now, they did have great success with it last year, largely based on their goaltending and their power play and winning a mash full of 1-goal games. But they had great success with it. But I don't know if they're the way they're playing is ideally suited to these guys. But no matter what, they can play better than they played the last little while. And you guys can feel it. You guys are very in tune with the market. I'm down there at the games. I'm between the benches. Like, I don't want to do vibe checks because that's not sort of how but like the vibe check on this team is different and changing rapidly, almost than anything we've seen in several years. Several years where, the tension and sort of the scrutiny and the criticism and Craig Barube no longer saying, sort of towing the company line and being positive and like, we got to work some things out, but I liked it. He's like, no, I'm not doing any of that anymore. He's calling guys out sort of directly, the leadership group. The Ask Them quote, you guys played it earlier. I mean, that's a guy saying, I'm not protecting them anymore. I'm not taking the bullets. I'm not going to go to the spin job. I'm putting it right on him because it's not that he doesn't care, but I think he's probably exhausted all the other options. I've tried to be the good guy. I've tried to be soft. I've tried to be hard behind closed doors, and now it's not working. So what I got to do? Maybe I got to turn the heat up publicly because that's what's happening right now. And I think for the first time in a decade, for so many of these best players, for Nylander, for Matthews, Morgan Riley has largely skated, without too much criticism in his game. Tavares has been celebrated, understandably so. They're getting, like, the idea that they're getting that Toronto heat, which, Toronto could be guilty of, I suppose, or suggest that it might be that way. It's happening now, and it feels really different. So I don't know what happens in Nashville. They better win tomorrow because Dallas on Sunday is going to be tough. But I do think the questions that have to be asked are, so you could ask, do we have the right roster? But I think that sort of comes almost third. The question is, do we have the right system being implemented by the right coach? And that's number one. Because if it's not the right system, then I think Craig Berube is smart enough. He probably, even if he doesn't want to, could figure out other ways for them to play. Like, it's not like it's that confusing. So that's question one. Is it the right system with the right coach putting it in? And then the second question is, are the players willing to embrace trying to do that system as best they can? And I want to believe the players want to do well. They don't want to pout and throw in the towel and be disinterested. Some of the stuff they get criticized of, with good reason at times. But I just wonder, is that conversation happening? Is Trey Living asking Barube, or is Barube asking the other coaches, okay, are we giving this team the best chance to be successful? Because I think what we've seen so far, and we're 35 games in this season, 33, whatever it is, that them being asked to play the way they're being asked to play, they can be competitive. They can win games. They might make the playoffs. They're not a good team. They're not an upper echelon team playing this system with these players. I don't care. Like, they can play harder. They can be grittier. Like, I don't want to hear any of that. I just don't think this system, these players, as it is right now, they're an upper echelon team. They're not a Stanley Cup contending team like this. They just aren't. Whether they have injuries or not. And I think that's where they got to go and try to start through some of that sort of wreckage in the fallout.
So just to pile on that or jump on that, Johnny, quickly. If they decided, and Chief's a smart guy, if they decided to play a different system, does that take the team, were you saying, to another level, or it just at least gives them a different look? Like, that's what I mean is this team much better playing a different system, playing the Sheldon Keefe system? Like, you can ask.
I think the best players,
Joshua, and okay, so yeah, that's fair enough. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the best players could be way better in a different system. Yes, I do. Now, do I think Dakota Joshua, not to pick on, he's playing well, so he's a good guy to pick right now. Right. But is Dakota Joshua or Nick Waugh going to thrive in a different kind of system, up tempo, puck possession, rush based system? Maybe not. But you're not going to win or lose, sink or swim with Joshua and Waugh. You're going to sink or swim with Matthews and Nylander and Nyes and Tavares, I suppose, up front. And I think, what they're trying to do, what they're doing is not maximizing those guys specifically.
One quick thing on top of that. You also need to get the puck to do that, correct? And I don't think they're
been a problem for 2 years.
Well enough. They don't move the puck well enough. They're D.
But make no mistake, Noodles.
One player. Right.
This is not a 25-26 problem. Like, look at the numbers from last year. Their possession numbers, they were like near bottom of the league. Like, as you went along, so possession numbers near bottom of the league, expected goal numbers were like 24, high danger chances were like 16. So they got better sort of incrementally as they got closer to their net, but they were not. And this is the difference. And this is sort of the whole thing with this team and how they're like, they've not been good under Craig Barube in these sort of underlying numbers that offer sustainable success. They had the second best save percentage last year, right? Everyone who's got the second best save percentage has a good team, whether they're playing well or not, right? And they had Jonas, what were they in the power play last year? 5th, 7th? Whatever they were in the power play. Yeah, really right pretty good, right? So, that's how you win close games. And I think what's happened is the power play's fallen off and the goaltending hasn't been as great. It's been fine, but not as great. And they lose close games. Yeah. But largely playing the same way. And yes, Mitch Marner off the roster is part of that equation. But it's it's not like they were some juggernaut last year. This is not revisionist history. I had this conversation previously and people were like, well, who cares? They're winning. I'm like, I get it. Right. But so many things are falling their way that is allowing them to win last year. It's not falling their way this year. And I think that's where the system stuff needs to be explored.
It's fair. It's just I have a tough time Philip Meyer living in that system.
But he played on the team last year.
Listen, that defensive core, who's the best puck mover back there?
Riley or Ekman Larson?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Although, I'm not going to lie to you guys.
That's true.
Off a forecheck, you want to know who the best passers were of the puck last year? Tanev and McCabe. Off a forecheck.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you can talk about stretch passes,
for sure.
but under duress, those two guys are the ones who got the puck out of the zone.
They knew how to play,
and that's that's 100% a problem, Noodles. 100%. Brandon Carlo.
That's why I brought it up.
Hopefully, when he gets back, will be better with a better foot. Like, he'll move and sort of be able to pass the puck around a bit better. But yeah, and it's totally legitimate. It's one thing to say you're not playing the system that maximizes the forwards on this roster, but maybe you don't have the horses, like the personnel to play that kind of system because you can't pass the puck. You can't. That's why Troy Stetcher looks so good because he skates. He moves. He comes around the net and he drops the forechecker and he sort of joins the rush just because he can skate.
Yeah.
So,
Noodles, can I give you a stat? Let me ask. Yeah, sorry, Mike.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask Noodles.
Go ahead, Josh.
So they are 31st in the league in the amount of time spent in the offensive zone at even strength. What is that? Isn't that on the coach? Isn't that 31st?
Or the team's no good. Or the team is no good.
But that means they have no talent, and I don't think we think that.
We don't want to talk about.
I think this is where I struggle with, guys. I don't know how many times people say to me, this team is so talented. I disagree. I think they've got a few talented players and then a bunch of other guys that are just carbon copy of other teams. Like, that's the way I look at it. The difference in the last couple of years is you had 4 guys that could separate anything on any given night.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I looked at it. Is the Leafs could play any different style, puck possession, not possession. It's 2-2 in the third period. One of those guys goes, I got you, or overtime, and there's more ice out there for more skill for those 4 guys. You lose one of them, and the other one's 35 years old. Now you're down to 2. Everyone says Nyes. I mean, Johnny, you've said Nyes is a really good player. I don't see him as a star. I see him as a really good player. And so what I look at it is there's a lot of interchangeable players on this roster with 2 superstars and everybody else. So to me, they've got to play differently.
There it is then. Like, if you're saying they have 2 stars and a whole bunch of similar players, well, so what does Ottawa have? 3 stars?
Yeah.
Like, you can get a system that doesn't have you 29th in possession in the league, right? Like, where you're not getting outshot 27 of 33 times. You can create system play to find a way to either level the playing field, because what they're doing now is it's both not maximizing their superstars or leveling the playing field to make everyone sort of mediocre, like get them in the pack. It's doing neither. It's hurting the best guys and also having them get caved in. So, figure out what you want to do. Try to make the other guys just tread water and the stars win it for you. That was last year. That might not be feasible this year because of weather, health, personnel, whatever, goaltending. Then you have to find something else. Then, I'm not a coach, so I can't necessarily tell you what I would do. But, I do like the idea of having the puck more. And I watched them do this.
It's fair.
And I try to draw, they do the stretch, tip, dump as much as any team I can remember seeing, right? So they post guys up at the far blue line. They wire a puck up there. They chip it in. The guy who chips it is standing still, so he's never going to get it. Some guy from the other side who is also standing still at the blue line, he tries to get in the forecheck. And this is where the speed factor comes into play. I don't think the guys don't want to work hard on the forecheck. I don't think they're not fully bought in trying to get the puck back. What I think is that they're not there fast enough that they can't do it. And so, that's just an example. I watched them play like that in the neutral zone. I'm like, this is why you never get the puck back. The dump and chase doesn't have the chase. It's the dump and turn it over. So these are the conversations we're having. I feel like they must be having to try to find other better ways to get more. Other than saying try harder. Because try harder for me falls sort of on deaf ears after a while.
Well, everybody tries hard.
Right.
You're not out there, there is some lazy players in the league, and you watch them all throughout the league, but they're opportunists. That's what they are. They try hard when they need to try hard. The puck gets close to them or whatever. But I do think something has to give with this group. Brian, I'll go back to you. This is what you said right at 4 o'clock, is what's going to give here? Because you're 33 games in. Where are you at? Where do you go from here?
Well, this is where I think there's a certain age of the fan base that's getting nostalgia here, because at some point ownership has to be included in the vision of where this is going. Not just about can you beat Nashville tomorrow or Dallas on Sunday. Not just can we find a way to salvage and get into the playoffs. It's a bigger picture conversation. It's coinciding with, Jonas, your article, where they're not even selling out right now. It's not that they're a mess. But that's a shot. That goes all the way up the chain. You got Keith Pelly here, who's relatively new. Keith is trying to win. He's looking down the street, and his counterpart is Mark Shapiro. That guy is riding high right now within the same ownership group. They don't fall under the same umbrella, but I'd be shocked if there isn't some competition there, right? Keith is probably looking at him saying, all right, look what's going on with the Jays down Bremner. I got to find a way to get this cooking. That is nostalgia that I think scares Leaf fans. Because because what happens generally is patchwork, right? And it becomes delusional sometimes. Yep. It becomes, we got to do whatever we can to find a way to win right now, and then you lose sight of the big picture, or you're just simply off base in terms of the evaluation.
Well, and then you create
you may not be that good.
Then you create the cycle of, you fire the coach, then the season just doesn't work anyway, and then you fire the GM, and then it's like you're in the same
Then where
position,
are we going? Or we're trading more picks and prospects, and we're going, we're trying to get back. We got to get in the dance.
This is the thing, and we might be in it already. The greatest mess up you could do as a GM is not making bad trades, is not accurately assessing where your team is, who your team is. And we might be in there because they traded a first and a prospect for Brandon Carlo, for Scotty Lawton, right? They did that assuming we're going to be a Stanley Cup contender. We're going to finish in the top 7. That pick is going to be 25, and we don't need to worry about it. It's go back to the Phil Kessel trade. The Phil Kessel trade was fine, except the Leafs were terrible and not good. So now it turns out to Tyler Seguin and Dougie Hamilton get drafted with those picks. It wasn't the evaluation of the picks, is the evaluation of where your team stands. You were talking about Rasmus Anderson. This is the challenge with Rasmus Anderson. You trade. What are you going to trade another first-round pick for him? How good do you think you are?
They don't have another first-round pick.
Yeah.
Well, they do at
they go 2027
yeah.
or 28.
Yeah. I think that's complete malpractice.
And that's what I'm saying. And then that's where, and this is where I spend time thinking about this. And making trades is tricky. Roster freeze tonight, so it doesn't even matter what happens this weekend. Nothing's happening. There's a roster freeze. Guys have no trade protection earned. Are you going to trade a Matthew Nyes away? Of course not. There's no way. There's no way you're going to do that, a young player. So making big deals of consequence, really tough to do. Firing the coach.
But also, furthermore on that quickly,
really hard to do.
Trusting that the GM, who has put these pieces together, if it gets to a point where they go, okay, this is, I don't know if you want to classify it, end of an era, or we've hit a stalemate, we're not as good anymore, we've got to adjust. Is Tree Living the guy that you trust to adjust into the next wave? Like, that's what they have to be asking right now. If you're Pelly in ownership, like if he comes to you and accurately assesses what you just said, that we're not that good, we missed, we got to make adjustments, we got to trade pieces off, we got to gain some flexibility, we got to bring in picks, we got to bring in prospects. Seems like a very reasonable pitch. What also comes with that is him saying, you got to give me 3 years to complete it, right? So I don't know.
Also saying, it was me who put us here.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And that's where the coach move comes in. Yeah.
Right. And that's why, and it's not that I for a second think Barube should be fired or deserves to be fired or whatever. He's not good. I'm not saying that. But this is sports. This is like when you start thinking because they're so desperate, Hayes, not to acknowledge what you just said. Like they don't want to utter those words that we're not good. We missed the window. It's not happening. We got to have a pivot, whatever you want to call it. And I don't know if they're there yet. We might, last night was not great. The last 2 weeks have not been great, but we are 35 games in. So something is here. But I don't think they want to go down that road, which again leaves you to the path of least resistance is the one that maybe is the least deserved, the coach. But and I'm like, I don't think they're there yet for a second, but like something is going to change. Something is going to happen. There is friction forces rubbing up against each other right now. The standings, the production of their top players, the energy coming off the coach, the pressure from the GM and the new ownership and president Keith Bell. Like all those things are part of this equation. And all I'm like, it feels like, I don't know how much longer, 10 days if it doesn't go better. Maybe New Year's. Let's say New Year's. That's kind of a comfortable number. Something will happen. It will not just be sort of, let's keep racking it up and see if we get better. Let's just go back to the well one more time. Something is going to happen. You can just sort of feel it in the air.
Yeah, you can feel it. This weekend feels very substantial. Like if you lose and you look lifeless at Nashville in particular, Dallas is more reasonable, but still, they're an NHL team. You got to play. If you think you're a good team, then no one should terrify you.
You're supposed to be, you're supposed to be able to go with those teams. Like those are great. Those are great barometers right now.
I also don't know how the fans are going to react because, they got loud the other night. They booed. Remember sometimes it becomes a mercy play where if the coach is getting catcalled.
Ron Wilson, remember that?
That was it. It was like, I can't keep putting them out there. The thing is, the players, their approval rating is so low here. I'm not convinced we're that far away from the players getting it. Like, not a
they
Larry
were getting
Murphy.
it the other night, Hayes.
I know, but I'm talking individual players. Individual players.
Right.
The best players,
which is
the
wild.
leaders. Yes.
They're like, these are like arguably, if you're talking about the best players, you're saying Matthews and Nylander.
Exactly.
And you can throw Morgan Riley in there. So Austin Matthews, William Nylander are two of the best 8 players in the history of the franchise. Like, it's crazy, but it's true. Morgan Riley is a top 5 defenseman in the history of this franchise. They've been in the playoff 9 years in a row, and they won the division last year. They were the only team to take the Stanley Cup champion to 7 games, and we are 33 games, 2.5 months into this, and it is flipping so fast. And we can talk about why or why not, but the fact that these guys who should have so much goodwill banked feel like they're getting towards the end of the line where like the tolerance is getting thin for poor performances. It's happening very fast. It's happening very quickly.
So I quickly, I know we got to go, but I asked at the starting, I believe, Johnny, you probably would have heard it. Is the expectations for this group based on where they are too high?
Whose expectations are you talking about? You're talking about mine or Jonas's. I think ours were probably a little bit more tempered than the GM's. And this is the issue, right? The GM, the coach, the president, Keith Pelly's talking about winning cups and challenging for Stanley Cups. Like that's what they say publicly. They often should. I think there probably should have been Noodles coming off of last year where there was so much positivity. It probably was not irrationally, but too high. The expectations were too high coming into this season based on a lot of the stuff that has played out that we could have saw potentially happening from last year. And unfortunately for Leafs have sort of carried forward and the numbers have caught up to them this year.
Yeah.
All right, Johnny. Well, we'll see what they have in store this weekend, man. There's a lot going on in the league, too. Tristan Jarry's on the IR. That just came out while we were talking about this. So there's an introduction to the team.
Now, guys, I read a thing, Hayes. He's only missed 33 games in his 10-year career on the injured list. So he's not really injury prone, even though it feels like he is.
Right.
But
I know. You're right.
That's not great. It just sucks because
it's terrible timing.
You're trying to settle in, and you. Thing is, though, that that trade had to happen. So it happened. Unfortunately,
but Cal Pickard, buckle up.
Well, I think Ingram's going to play.
And Ingram's coming up.
I like him as a goalie.
He's going to get chances.
It might be It might be Ingrid and Jarry when it's all said and done, right?
I believe that that's where I think the end game's going to be. I think it's going to be Jarry and Ingram. But Ingram is 28 years old. He's a really good goaltender, but he's had some struggles, right? And it's well documented. So I'm not, spilling the beans. He's had struggles this last year, and he's working to get his game back in order. It's probably been fast-tracked now with the injury to Jarry, but I think Ingram's going to play games for them, and he's a good goalie. 28, they like him.
Well, man, it's going to be an action-packed weekend. So enjoy yourself, Johnny, as always, buddy. Thank you for doing this.
All right, boys. This segment will be brought to you by Turtles. I'm going to go crush half a box.
And
go have yourself a great time.
We've
a great segment. All around, everyone's having a great
segment,
time.
guys.
Great segment, guys. Cheers to all of us. Thanks, Johnny. Appreciate it. Mike Johnson joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. All right.
How much money do you think we've made for Turtles?
Oh, I'm sure the stock is through the roof. Why wouldn't it be? All right, Dear Hazy B coming up. We'll come back and reset. Again, we got some big games in the NHL, NBA, NFL this weekend. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and up on YouTube Live.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Melon and Friday brought to you by Boston Pizza. Stop by your local BP for $7 touchdown pints, styled in shareables, and weekly prizing up for grabs. Football game days are better at BP, and it's going to be a great weekend for that. Boston Pizza and their NFL game day menu, because we got 2 football games tomorrow. We got a bunch of games on Sunday. The Christmas games don't look great.
Oh, man.
They look borderline horrendous.
Like unwatchable almost.
But better, they're still going to crush the NBA.
Minshew and Mariota?
It'll crush the NBA in terms of ratings. They'll still do 20, 25 million for those games, and the NBA will do, 7, 8? I'm not sure down in the U.S., but the NFL is king, man. It doesn't matter who plays.
You asked Luke about Darnold. Can I ask you a question about that? So I'm going to name some NFC quarterbacks quickly. Tell me who you would rather have. Love. Stafford.
Stafford right now. Stafford.
Purdy.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
That's a think about it.
That's a think about.
Hurts
Hurts has won a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP.
Okay, so let's
Hurts. I'm going to go with Hurts.
Caleb.
Wow.
Darnold.
Wow.
Right now, Darnold.
Okay.
Caleb's numbers have not been great this year. Like they've won a bunch of games where his
he's been
completion rate is under 60%.
Okay, last one, Baker.
I love Baker. I'm a Baker guy. I'd go with Baker Mayfield.
So that means he's
over all of those.
You're right. So that's
over Darnold.
Fifth.
Yeah.
Best.
Which still, there's 16 teams in the conference. You know, if you have
can you win a Super Bowl?
I don't know if you can, but I would have said the questions were there for Jalen Hurts as well.
Yeah.
Right. And they won a Super Bowl. It wasn't and he won Super Bowl MVP. I think
good at the end.
The point is the guy's got to be great at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like where if you look at Mahomes, you're like, I know he's going to be great. He's clearly going to be the best player throughout it. He's going to lead the charge. If you have more of a quote unquote systems quarterback, which basically means he's just not uber talented.
Yeah.
He's got to have a moment or two that's uber clutch. Like Eli Manning's the best example of that.
He's better than that, though. It's
Eli was not some superstar player ever.
Why can't it Sam Bradford?
Yeah.
The one with the Eagles?
Well, he went first overall. No, that was Nick Foles.
Nick Foles.
Bradford was the first overall pick when they were still in St. Louis.
So when Foles won the Super Bowl.
But Foles was great at times in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl.
How does Eli have so little respect?
Yeah, Hayes is disrespecting him.
He won twice.
He was great in the playoffs, every time.
He was clutch. You're right. Joe Flacco, clutch, historically very clutch. But Eli, his toolbox was not he gets compared to his brother
limited,
and Brady. Yes, he is nowhere close to those guys. And he was a good, really good player. That was incredibly clutch in the playoffs. You're right, and beat Brady twice in the Super Bowl, but didn't beat him 48-47. They were the first time they won was 17-10.
Yep.
And the next one, he pulled off 2-minute drives. They were incredible. Two of the great flukier catches plays ever, right? But he threw them and he led the charge, and you gotta give him full credit for that.
Right.
But I guess that's what you're hoping for if you're Seattle. Can Darnold give me give me one Eli Manning run?
Yeah.
Just be clutch and stay in the pocket, make your throws.
Sometimes though, guys, the QB, the goalie, you name it, they just have to be good if the team is good too.
Yes.
You don't have to dominate. You can just if you're good and efficient, that's what you're saying about Eli. Eli to run he was good. But you have to be good at the right time. That's what it is.
So Darnold might be like the Stu Skinner, kind of, a little bit?
Yeah, well...
I mean, they made 2 finals.
They did, but here was the disagreement I had with somebody. They're like, Jari's hurt all the time. I'm like, well, he's actually only missed 33 games in his career, but it's bad timing. And I said, I think Jari's a better goalie than Skinner, but we'll see. You're right. He's been unproven in the playoffs. The thing is Stuart Skinner had help in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Game 5 of the Stanley Cup final, Calvin Pickard started. That is, for me, it's telling, right? You can have help. Corey Crawford. What's the Scott Darling played a few games.
Darling, the first round he played.
And Corey Crawford took over and then ran them to the cup, right? Mm-hmm. Braden Holtby. It was Philip Grubauer that started game 1 or 2 or whatever, and then Holtby took over. I've seen Matt Murray.
Fleury and Murray, yeah.
Fleury and Murray. You just see it, but for the most part, your guy, the guy who is the one who runs right through the final, who runs right through everything. And, Skinner needed help in those situations. That's the difference. So
he also got help from clutch players, right? McDavid and Draisaitl had some games where it's you go ahead, give up 4 or 5. We're not losing tonight.
Yeah.
We're going to score 5 or 6 or do whatever we have to.
Which is what a great quarterback will sometimes do. Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
I guess not the best example recently, but
when the defense fails or whatever, it's we'll win 49-48 if we have to. I think that now last night was a shootout. It turned out to be.
Yeah.
What was it, 38-37?
But in the fourth quarter, where I was thinking, man, I don't know if this guy can do it.
I had my doubts. I still do. We asked Luke that, and Luke was still hesitant to say I'm a full believer. But you got to give credit where it's due.
Yeah.
I was sitting there at the half texting with a lot of people being I knew it. Darnold it just wasn't going to happen.
Well, that 2-point conversion is the craziest thing.
He's
ever.
So lucky that a Ram player didn't jump on it. That's where McVay's going to go nuts. Because I can just picture Belichick screaming at his guys saying, we teach you that in August. There's a live ball. If you didn't hear, and the fact that even the Seahawks player just kind of moseyed over it, he wasn't grabbing it thinking touch, like 2-point conversion.
He was like, I'll just pick this up, hand it back to the ref.
Right.
Like, oh, hey. Like,
he was barely in the end zone. He was a half foot in. He's like, here you go, Stripes. We missed it. And then he gets credit. It's like, all right, 2-point conversion.
So
but
funny.
You're right. Like Darnold, he got very lucky last night.
Yeah.
But when he needed to make throws down the stretch, he did. In the fourth quarter, he did. In overtime, he did. The 2-point conversion, he did. He's going to have to continue to prove it. And guess what? He's lucky because he's got that shot. Like he had it in Minnesota last year. He's got it in Seattle. They're really good. They got talent. They got a really good defense. They got a good coach. They're set up for success.
Yeah.
That was a great game last night. Like a great, great game.
It was. I even though we lost, I felt for Luke gets so emotional in that stuff, right? Like
feel for the guy. He's just dying on the vine, man.
Just
Al's
being a
brother
hero too. Like
Al's brother now challenging him on Puka Nakua's rankings and sticky hands. And
well, Al's brother writes, "We're up by 2 touchdowns," and then does like the whatever this means, the devil horns or whatever. I was like, oh my God. Like,
Al's brother is stuffing Luke in a locker every week.
Classic.
Yeah, Al's brother, listen, his football knowledge is world-renowned, man. He picks winners. He's got tremendous information. I trust his scouting eye. I wasn't kidding, man. You got to get that guy to the
combine.
The combine. Get Al's brother as an independent scout. We'll have Mel Kiper coming up to him saying, what are you seeing out here? Who do you like? Who should be moving up and down my board? All right, best bets coming up in Dear Hazy B to wrap up a crazy day, crazy week. OverDrive continues up on YouTube Live.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
People send in a tweet. They write us for our professional advice on life things. Dear Hazy B, every morning my boiler has a gas leak. My wife thinks it's the baby.
Dear Hazy B.
If you want to come to Hazy B, I need honesty from you.
Hazy, you got dumped a lot. Tell me. Tell him.
Grown adults with birthdays, it's asinine.
All right, Dear Hazy B is brought to you by Boston Pizza's NFL Game Day menu. Stop by your local BP for $7 touchdown pine styled and shareables and weekly prizing up for grabs. Football game days are better at BP. We've been talking about buying Christmas gifts recently, and you weren't on yesterday, Noodles. I was taking heat from Owen Feschuk because I said I went out to buy gifts for people, and while I was there, I bought myself some stuff. Which I thought that was totally reasonable. What's wrong? Like, I'm in the store. Why can't I do that?
What did they say? What was their point?
Oh, it was like, how dare you? This is the season of giving. I wasn't there like splurging. Wasn't buying like, gold teeth and, like I didn't go buy a new car or something.
Yeah, and then you tell your wife, we don't have any money at Christmas. Meanwhile, your trunk is full of stuff.
Right.
Like it is.
I didn't go to Golf Town and buy new clubs.
Yeah.
I was like, new pair of shoes. Yeah, I need that. Kind of need a new shirt. I was there. But
support.
Yeah, thank you, Jonas. See, that's
I back
reasonable.
you on that too, for sure.
Yeah, what's the difference? December 18th, July 18th, you're in the store. Why does it make a difference?
And you got gifts for other people.
Exactly, and that was why I was there, and I accomplished that. I didn't stop short of that. I didn't waste time on myself and say, I'll come back later or maybe not at all. I got those jobs done, and I moved on. So there is an esteemed gentleman that works here at TSN that we all know and love, and he has run into a predicament that he's taking a lot of heat on. I'm curious where you guys stand on this because it's the age-old question, especially with married couples. Do you go practical or do you go, is it the sizzle or the steak, right? Because sometimes you got to go sizzle and you got to get something she's not expecting, something a little bit off the beaten path. There was an individual that bought his wife new tires for Christmas, and I think is going to wrap them individually.
Oh, that's...
Don't do it.
4 tires under the tree.
Is the question of, is this a good idea?
Is it a good idea?
The tires or the wrapping?
You can comment on both.
Noodles, I think you got the answer.
Okay, I think wrapping them is asinine. There's 4 giant tires sitting in your living room or in your family room.
You roll it over. Here's another one for you.
With a bow on it. The bow's squashed. But, I mean... Practical, hey, I got you some winter tires. Going to have them put on a Canadian Tire next week.
Does it count as a Christmas gift, though? Isn't that something you just kind of got to do? You got to step up and buy the winter tires, right?
I don't know. I played with a guy.
I don't think it's a good idea at Christmas, man.
At all.
Like you can do it at Christmas, but you can't count that as your gift.
Not at all.
I don't know.
That's
I think
trouble.
it's practical. I think as long as she's on board, be like, hey, I'm fishtailing all over the roads here. Can you get me some new tires?
No.
Great, I'll buy you some for Christmas.
But here's the best part, Noodles. Yeah, but you got to wait until Christmas. It's like that's ice on the road.
23rd, she's fishtailing down the road.
You'll get them out. You got to wait.
Yeah.
You got to wait. It's a surprise. Kids don't know.
Yeah,
I think you got to just gift those right away. Yeah, there's no wrapping them, and there's
like
no
a
tires
for Christmas. It's
right. Exactly.
There you go.
Can't do it, man.
I played with a guy who bought his wife a sewing machine for Christmas.
That's a good idea. That's okay. Unless there's like an implication there that you need to do something.
Well, if he throws a pair of jeans at her and goes, "Hey, there's a rip in the knee. Can you fire that thing up?"
I'll never forget it. I'll never forget. I was hosting our team party, and he had gone to the mall early and showed up at the party early, an hour early. And he's like, "I'm so pumped." He parked his car out on my street. He's like, "I got the wife a sewing machine." I go, on purpose? Like, I didn't understand. Like, I was single at the time. I'm like, I guess that's what you get wives. He's like, oh, she's going to love it. I'm like, I think she's an actress, isn't she? Like, why are you giving her a sewing machine? Like, it's such a weird thing.
Sewing machines in general are just a wild contraption, man. You get someone that knows how to operate that. Yeah, you get like a real foot pedal. You get like it's an impressive skill. I admit I have never used one. I never will.
Yeah.
But like I guess it's one thing if you're passionate about that, but
yeah,
I don't know. I guess there is passion behind, sewing and stuff.
Stitching. Yeah, I get it, but it was weird. If you knew him and knew her, like I didn't know if she.
Right, she's not a seamstress or something.
Yeah,
like it wasn't like a career boosting move.
No.
Okay.
No.
We got a text or a tweet in. You can tweet us at any time at OverDrive 1050. CJ tweeting and saying, "Dear Hazy B, new neighbors moved in recently and we share a driveway. First day we met, he said he's happy to do my side when it snows if he has time. I said I would do the same. I have now shoveled the whole thing 4 times already, all on my own, and he has brought nothing to the table. How do I approach this?"
That's tough.
It is, because there's been a lot of snow, man.
And now you can't stop doing it, right?
No.
Like if it snows and you do yours.
Oh, I think that's precisely the message.
You just do half the driveway now?
Right at the halfway point. That's a message. I'm not doing it a 5th time. Because it's either that or you just let it sit until the guy gets the message.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's one or the other, because he is clearly coming home to a clean driveway and saying, this is amazing. What a setup.
If you're close enough with him, shoot a text and be like, hey, you're going to do the driveway here? I've done it the last
I don't think
times.
they're that close, Noodles. It's a recently moved in new neighbor.
What if you just didn't do yours?
Yeah,
Just
but you're
left them
punishing
both.
yourself.
That's it.
Like, why not? Like, why are you punishing yourself? You've got the work ethic to go on. I think Hayes' idea is like, just do your side. And send the message like, hey, I've done it 4 times in a row. You're not getting a 5th. Like, I think
the thing is, like,
down.
sometimes depending on where it is, you get in. If you're in the city or something, and you live in kind of an older, more established neighborhood, sometimes you'll share like the walkway through the middle of the houses, too, right? Which is where I grew up with that. So you can't really just do your driveway, because at some point, if you want to get to the back of the house or down to the side of the house, that's got to be taken care of. It becomes dicey, man. I know the math on that. It's like you got to be neighborly. You got to try to. It's never going to be 100% even, but you got to pull your weight. You can't go 0 for 4 out of the gate.
No,
that's crazy. Those numbers are completely unacceptable.
Yeah, you got to chip in.
Yeah,
you gotta.
I think there's a message that has to be sent. You either just don't do it, and then you wait a day, and if he still hasn't done it, then you go out and you just do your half.
Oh.
And you say, this is where we're going now.
That's a
Would you
strong
get,
message.
It's as strong as it gets.
If that was you.
Yes.
Would you be like, oh man, I
100%. You know exactly what it says when it's a sharp line. Like, because you can stop a shovel wherever you want to stop a shovel.
That's true. The line right down the middle of the driveway.
Right down the official ruling of where the city would establish your property from his. It's a.
Or
listen,
you
it
could
gets a
shovel
message
it
across.
onto theirs.
Well, that's extreme. Then you're looking for a fight. Like if you're blowing it all into their side of things.
That's a big mound of snow on his side. Oh, that's greasy. No, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think I told you guys, like, I bought an ATV with a shovel on the front. I'd had enough. I had a company that came and did my driveway, and they ran a tree over and broke it and then wouldn't pay for it.
Yeah. Shouldn't have been standing there.
I had to show them video evidence that they ran the tree over.
Yeah. Well, I'm in a predicament right now because I bought a few gift cards, and I did it quickly, and I took off, and an hour later I checked. One of them wasn't in there.
Wait, was that the gift shopping you did? Because that changes it.
No, it wasn't. That's a completely different story. But now I'm jammed because I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm going to go back and be like, hey, you got to believe me. Like, yeah, okay, dude. Yeah. So I don't know how I'm going to handle that. But you made the right call, Noodles. Get rid of those guys. You can't take trees out. I mean, and not take responsibility. That's amateur hour.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Big parlay. Packers cover, Steelers cover. Jordan Love, 2+ touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers, 2+ touchdowns. The Packers, past and present, have big weekends. Steelers, Packers covers as well. Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Same-game parlays now available for every NFL game on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly. 18+, physically located in Ontario. All right, thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today, TV, radio, podcast, web, and up on YouTube Live. Every single show is up on YouTube on TSN's YouTube channel. Jonas, good seeing you.
Thanks, boys.
We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy your weekends. We're back Monday at
4 p.m.
We'll chat then.